Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
I want you to listen carefully to a note that was sent to me yesterday, and I'm going to stand behind this 100%. The Democrat Party is the world's most successful hate group. It attracts poor people who hate rich people, black people who hate white people, gay people who hate straight people, feminists who hate men, environmentalists who hate the internal combustion engine, and a lot of bratty college kids who hate their parents. However, the real secret of the party's success is that it attracts the support of journalists who hate Republicans, and who therefore work tirelessly to convince the rest of us that we should vote for Democrats. Isn't going to happen. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith. God bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance on March 1st. And thank you very much. Thank you, Kate Smith. God bless America. Welcome to Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, and, of course, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and a big spring tire sale going on. And along with some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, my friend.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are you all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because we got a little worried. We heard you had to go to the hospital or something, and I was wishing your bride a very happy birthday, and I just wanted to make sure all is well in Radiator Land.
Alternator Land, not Radiator.
Well, I'm sorry. It all fits on a car, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, I just had a doctor's appointment, and I forgot to wish her a happy birthday yesterday morning.
I took care of it. However, I did not take her out to eat and buy her an expensive gift. I did leave that up to you.
Well, yeah, I got her a card, and I think it was a Grant, I'm not sure, and Jackson, somebody, one of those big presidents.
Okay. Hey, listen, thanks for calling in.
You bet.
All right, buddy. And right now, without further ado, let us tell you about the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. How about it, Merv?
All right, he gets at a steer calves there, here to get $31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5.
Oh, that's the chant of Merv May, the world's best auctioneer at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. And Damon over there at the station's going, didn't you forget something? Yes, I did, Damon. I'll be right back with you. And we want to remind you the sale time today, 10:30 at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, with Merv May, Cade Rogge, and Lance Udy, the sale that works for you. Hurtado Ranch up at Malta bringing in 70 head of ripping good steers. Skip Owen at Glens Ferry bringing down 75 head of mixed yearlings. Kelly War up at Grouse Creek, 60 head of yearlings. Ward Dairy at Burley, 68 head of Holstein steers. Butcher counts coming in from TLK Dairy. Funk Dairy and Acme Dairy, 10:30 starting time. Don't forget to be there today along with the trailer line run at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, which, by the way, is also going to have that Sheridan Ranch Bull Sale on this Saturday starting at 1 p.m. Merv, sell sell those steers.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get $31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, and I sell them $35. Zeb Mel, get the bottom again.
I appreciate it. Hey, Wheels, get on the microphone for a minute. I bet you kind of went, Zeb, what are you doing, right?
I did. I'm like, hey, he's going to switch things up this morning.
I did not mean to do that. I apologize to you, and right now it is time for the weather. That should have been time for the weather a few moments ago. KNR Rental with Roger and the crew at 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn, right there on the Burley Paul Highway. They get there at 7 in the morning, and they are saying spring's coming. Here we are with a forecast, maybe with snow, but it's not going to live long. No, it's going to go away. And get ready for outdoor cleanup and all the work on your lawns and your garden equipment that you need. It's all there at KNR Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Number to call, 678-3122. Here's the weather.
Be prepared for some more white stuff in the forecast over the next couple of days. Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are looking at snow likely for this morning, some in the lower elevations, but that's mainly going to be up in the higher elevations. A little bit on the breezy side as well. Total daytime accumulations of less than a half an inch possible, high of 40. Tonight's chance of rain or snow possible, and we are expecting accumulations of about an inch. Low of 32 for tonight. Tomorrow, more snow in the forecast, mostly in the morning. That could continue throughout the afternoon. And winds are going to be picking up for tomorrow as well. Accumulations of 1 to 2 inches possible for tomorrow. Expecting a high of 38 tomorrow night. Pretty much the same. Mostly cloudy skies, low near 20. And then for Saturday, 30% chance of snow showers, mostly cloudy skies, and a high of 35. That's your weather forecast for Zeb.
I'll tell you what, if you need answers for questions you've got regarding what kind of tools or equipment that you need for various jobs, just call Roger and the crew over there at K&R Rental. Really, really nice people on the Burley Paul Highway. Can't miss them. Number to call, 678-3122. Thank you, K&R Rental. I got a little bit ahead of myself, and I didn't mean to mess you up, old Wheels, over there. I appreciate it. Right now, I want to tell you, I got some public service announcements, and then we're going to get into the crux of various stories here this morning. The Raft River Rodeo Club is having their annual dinner and auction Friday, March 9th at 6:30 p.m. It's going to be held at the Raft River High School gym, and they've got a lot of auction items, great dinner, all kinds of fun things going on March 9th, Friday, March 9th at 6:30 p.m. Try to be there, and the money helps send the top cowboys and cowgirls to state and nationals. Very, very good club over there, and we appreciate that public service announcement. Okay, Ramsey Heating and Electric. Hello, Rita, Glenn, everybody. At a business that's darn near been in business over 60 years. Wow. What a track record of success and professionalism. Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. The number to call, 678-0459. And they're open at 7:30 in the morning till 5 Monday through Friday for all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. Nope, don't have to look any further. They've got it. They can do it. They will help. Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. You stop in and see them today. And real quick before I start taking your phone calls, I love this place. I do. Thomas and the rest of the folks at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, man, oh man, they're so nice. They're so nice, and Michelle and everybody, I just absolutely say thank you to Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley, and also at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. You go in, sit down, look at the menu, go, oh my, does this look good? Does that look good? It all looks good. It is good at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. You stop in and see them today, and the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch. Okay, I watched with great interest yesterday the gun meeting at the White House. And naturally, the Democrats and the left, they're saying that Trump was showboating and grandstanding. I did not see it that way at all, unless I'm looking at a completely different meeting and listening to completely different statements from not only the president, but also various senators from both parties. And House of Representatives. I do not understand how the left, and they do it every day, they can twist and turn stories that once were truthful and they can turn them into Alice in Wonderland. And I watched with great interest about what was being said. There was a sharing of really good ideas. And then there were also some really stupid ones. You know, I honestly believe that even if one side does not get everything it wants or retains everything it wants to keep, they are making progress, and I'll stand up toe-to-toe with anybody and tell them and look them in the eye, this president is doing far more to move the needle than Obama and Bush did, especially on this subject. Now, we're not going to like everything that comes out of this. We're not going to probably like everything that's done, and a lot of people will stand up and they'll stick their jaw out, and they'll say, well, we've got a Second Amendment, you can't do that. Or on the other side, they will probably say, well, we got to do this and we got to do that. Well, it's going to have to be a meeting of minds, and there's going to have to be some middle ground. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. What's causing much of the problem is these millennials are following somebody like Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, and that kind of reminds me of the story of the Pied Piper. You remember that thing?
Oh, absolutely, sure.
And this is what's happening. All these millennials are giving the Democratic Party a lot of power. They're out there doing their damage out there. They don't realize how they're being led by the nose, and they're helping to disrupt this country or destroy this country.
Well, I'm going to just say this, and I think now is a good time to say it, and if it offends anybody, that is their problem, not mine. The Oakland mayor of California, Oakland, California, that basically sent out a warning to all illegal aliens, hey, get out of Dodge City, look out, ICE is coming, which I found to be absolutely un-American. I think right now this morning there should be prosecutorial papers drawn up to not only get her fired, but also throw her in jail. And any other damn Democrat leadership, if you want to call it that, in any city, whether it's Chicago, New York, Oakland, it doesn't make any difference. We have laws to follow. You and I and everybody else has to follow laws that were put into effect by our Congress. And I am sick and tired of the Democrats, especially this very vile, stupid woman in Oakland, violating and absolutely offending the rest of us by breaking the law.
Well, they pay no attention to the Bill of Rights or the Constitution. To them, the Bill of Rights and the Constitution do not exist.
They make up their own rules, Tony. They're making up their own rules, and that leads to chaos and absolute anarchy.
You know, they should be charged with treason.
Yes. Yes, I have no argument with you whatsoever. I totally agree with you. Her pugnacious approach to the press yesterday, well, she was asked if she'd do it again, and she said absolutely. She's nothing but a grandstander. She's nothing more than a liberal Democrat trying to put her finger in the eye of the Constitution and the leadership of this country.
Well, I'll tell you what, if all the gun owners and everybody else don't get together, not only to protect the Second Amendment, but to protect the freedoms that they're about to lose, we're going to be in trouble.
We already are. And there was something else brought up at the meeting. I do not know if you agree with this or not, but I'm just going to say it. And I don't care who's offended by this. We have to clean up the complete filthy garbage that's being fed to our kids on the television, through the videos, through everything else. It's absolutely distorting and destroying our families and any kind of a moral fabric in America. And I hope they just burn every one of these garbage pits that are at various stores.
Well, the only things we're watching now really is the Western Channel. Somebody gets out there and doing something, they rape a woman or attack kids. they've got a rope and a tree.
Yeah, and you know what? There is no shortage of ropes and trees.
I agree.
Tony, God bless you, man. Thanks.
Okay, bud.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, I really get upset when I think that here's a woman that is supposed to be the I got to calm down. Mayor of Oakland, California, a large city, and thumbing her nose at rules and laws because she didn't like it. Okay, fine. Today I want you all to drive 15 miles over the speed limit. I'm kidding. Please do not do this. You're going to get picked up. You're going to get a ticket, but say, oh, no, my being in a hurry was much more important than your speed limit. You know, this is how asinine her attitude is in California, to break the laws that are the laws of the land that our government has passed, and they are supposed to make sure that they're structured and abided by. And this absolutely detestable woman says, oh, no, I'm going to warn illegal aliens so they can flee, scurry, and run. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm so sick and tired of the left, the demeaning left, or the demented left, trying to take control of our country. Speak out, for Pete's sakes. Pomerelle Place. I'm going to speak out about them for a moment. What a wonderful place. Place for senior living at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley. The number to call, 677-8212. And it might be a little risky for certain seniors to stay at home alone. And if they cook anywhere as bad as I do, they're going to starve to death and miss medication, etc. So please, please call Holly and the rest of the great folks at Pomerelle Place at 677-8212. It offers the ability for seniors to maintain their independence and safely and comfortably enjoy the environment of Pomerelle Place. 677-8212. Really, really nice people. Oh, and right away, with really, really nice people, I've got to also tell you about our friends over at Dino Septic Service. You know, I've had them on the air with me now for quite some time, and every day I do their ad, I still get that little smirk, because when they pulled into my yard the first time to pump the septic tank, there was that great big truck with that sign on the side that says, "Smells Cargo on the way." Well, fast, fair, friendly service, doing a job that you and I don't want to do. And all you need to do is call them at 436-6526, or in Burley, 678-1638. Dino Septic Service, really good people serving you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
There is a free lunch today at the Senior Center on South Overland in Burley. A single or a couple that have never had lunch there before. I'm buying. But today we're having sloppy joes and all the trimmings. And tomorrow it's pork chops and all the trimmings.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I tell you what, Joe, you've done this now for quite a while, offering a free lunch to somebody that's never eaten there before, whether it's a single person or a couple. You're going to pick up the tab, and I'll tell you what, you are a real community-oriented gentleman. Thank you for your call, and that's all going to be at the Senior Junction this noon, right?
We need more people to come to support our lunches in the Senior Center.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Joe, lead the charge, man. You are the man to look up to. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, buddy.
You.
What a nice man right there, Joe Taylor. And he said he'll buy lunch for anybody that's never eaten there before. Great food. Great food. Nice people. What a nice environment. Better get there. Senior Junction at noon. Let's see, what else have I got to tell you about real quick, and then I want to get into another story about, let me see, which one did I want to go into next? We'll talk a little bit more about the mayor of Oakland and what a detestable person she is, and she should be arrested right now, as should the likes of de Blasio in New York City, and of course Emanuel in Chicago. The list goes on, and I think somebody in various departments today should start sending letters. Excuse us, Mayor of Oakland. It has come to our attention that you are willingly breaking the laws of the United States government, and please know there will be a knock on your door at 4 o'clock, and handcuffs will be optional if you want to walk away quietly. If not, we will handcuff you and put you in jail. Anyhow, a great big bull sale coming up on Friday. I said it wrong. Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 23rd annual bull sale of the Sheridan Ranch, Cordell and Patty Sheridan. This Saturday, March 3rd, starting at 1 p.m. at the Burley Auction Yard. Do not miss this. Lunch provided, and they're going to be selling 80 ripping good bulls, 30 coming 2-year-olds, 50 yearlings, and free delivery to your ranches up to 300 miles. And I'll tell you what, this is one of the West's best doggone bull sales. Do not miss this. Cordell and Patty Sheridan. Number to call, 824-5531, or go to their website, SheridanCattle.com. Sheridan Ranch Bull Sale this Saturday in Burley. Don't you miss it. Okay, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, I guess I kind of wear at times my emotions on my sleeve. I don't apologize for that. And this morning was no different when I saw the mother of one of the slain girls, teenage girls in New York State. Her daughter was killed by MS-13 gang members. Disgusting vermin. And the interview with this mother had to be extremely tough. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. But she was asked a question that at the time it was asked, I thought, ooh, that's a little bit tough for a mother that is grieving and had to sit through the court. But the question was asked, did you at any time during that court procedure Tuesday, when the killers turned around and mocked and laughed at you and your husband over the death and killing of their daughter, what did you want to do? Did you literally want to jump over the railing and just assault these killers? The mother, I thought, was extremely reserved, fighting back and choking back tears, and really didn't answer the question, to which I give her a lot of credit for. But she told about the feelings that went through her when she was laughed at for being the mother of that slain teenage girl. I don't think, and I say this from my own personal standpoint, I don't think I could have nearly achieved the self-restraint and composure that this mother had. I know I couldn't. Can you imagine this gang, and all they are lice and vermin, MS-13, coming into this country and expanding into almost every state, into almost every large city and community, and out there killing, wantonly killing, and then going to court after you've lost a child and having one of these absolutely despicable, can't even call them human beings, turn around and laugh at you. I wonder how in the world this mother and father remained in their composure. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to also remind you about our friends at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, and they're at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Nick Greenwell and the rest of the staff. And good luck to the boys' basketball teams going to state, and I'd like to jump in and say that too. I'm kind of partial to Kimberly because my grandson, sophomore, Dawson Cummins, yeah, buddy, go get him. and their first game's this afternoon. I wish I could be there, but they play at 1:15, and it just isn't going to work out. Back to the commercial. Nick and the rest of the physical therapy experts, they say, come on in if you're coming back from a surgery or an accident or a sprain or a strain. They can help you with all the exercises, along with a great hydrotherapy pool at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, 678-1191. And, of course, they'll help you get back to being you. Yeah, I had to throw that in this morning. I don't care. My super sophomore grandson, Dawson Cummins, the old sharpshooter, I just absolutely am proud of him. I'm proud of all my grandsons. He's the oldest and going to state playing for Kimberly. Good luck this afternoon. Calls are welcome. Come on, give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. This is one of the most sobering stories that I've had on my program for a long time, and it is not happening here in the United States yet. When you hear what's going on or what's proposed in South Africa, it ought to chill you a little bit as to, I wonder how long before this cancerous situation is going to spread here to the United States, especially with the atmosphere of what's changing in this country against white Americans. In South Africa, the South African Parliament voted on Tuesday to move forward with an amendment to the country's constitution, and listen to this carefully, that would allow the government to seize and redistribute white-owned land without any compensation. Mull that over for a moment. What they're saying is that they will come in, they will take away land, they will take away farms, they will take away homesteads of white-owned land and redistribute it to others, and you're not going to get paid a dime. Now, you say that will never happen here in the United States. But with the hatred and the animosity that is being openly displayed by many in a very racist viewpoint against Caucasians, or us old whiteys, and there are minority groups, whether it's Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton or Black Lives Matter, that have said openly they want to see Whitey kicked off and we'll take over and we want this changed and we don't want them around. Why can't or why won't the same terrible circumstances begin to happen here? I want to have you call on this. Come on, give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your call to come in, I want to remind you about Barry Equipment and Rental, sales, service, and parts. 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, or 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin, or up in Napa. Yes, they are the premier Bobcat and Doosan equipment sales, service, and parts rental dealership. And if you're looking for a new skid steer, compact track loader, or mini excavator, they've got them. They've got them. And they've got all the Bobcats, all shapes and sizes, new and used. Better get in there. And if you don't know how to run the equipment, they got a big sandbox out behind. They will teach you. Barry Equipment and Rental, 1 over at Highway 30 in Burley, Eli, Addison Avenue West in Twin, and up in Napa. All right, Barry Equipment and Rental. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Jeb. I've heard about this before. My thought on it was, why don't we change places with the people, the white people that's in Africa who's being segregated against and treated harshly? Why don't we trade them for the people that are here that think whitey's all bad?
You know,
over there with their fellow kind.
You know, there's so much talk over the last, let's say 10 years, Riley, about remuneration to slave families from the 1800s or even earlier. First of all, that's going to be almost ridiculous and not even able to check out who really is deserving, if anybody is deserving, and I don't think they are. But once you start talking about taking away land without any compensation and you plant a seed wherever it is in the world, and then you can see the pronounced hatred that's going on in this country against Caucasians, it's not that far-fetched to be a little worried about the growth of this cancer, is it?
No, it's not at all. And, you know, we kind of see it now in some of our bigger cities where people, Detroit, for example, they kind of bankrupted itself. People who had money that was there given jobs was forced to pretty much distribute their own wealth to the people who don't want to do a dang thing, and they left. Happened in California, and it's happened in other parts of this nation where good-hearted people work hard and build something up and build a corporation, a company, and they're doing their best, and they're having to move because the taxes and whatever else. Taxation, in some sense, is just another form of redistribution of wealth.
I think you phrased it and framed it very well. Riley, thank you for your call. I do appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, buddy.
I'll talk to you later, buddy.
Thank you. You know, this really is scary to me, to think that South Africa's parliament, and the vote was, listen to this vote, 241 to 83. I mean, when you look at that vote, it was literally a landslide vote to go ahead and try to push this through. And basically their wording is just like I said. They want to allow the government to seize and redistribute white-owned land without compensation. Wow. What do you think about that? I mean, surely you must have some remarks on this, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. Give me a call at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. Well, I'm waiting for your call. Oh, I want to get this in. Remember, was it yesterday or the day before that I was talking about San Diego State University? Remember that? And we were talking about that course that they had. They were just starting a course at San Diego State about how to impeach President Trump. They had so many people call and so many people threatened the university that they decided they would take the name Trump off the name of the course, and now the course is just called How to Impeach a President. But it needs to go further. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Well, those people need to call back and just get that course kicked out, because that should not be anything that should be taught to our youth.
What are we doing, Doug? I mean, we are absolutely taking the minds of these younger people, whether it's elementary, high school, college, whatever, and we are molding them in to be nothing more than professional activists and absolute anarchists.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I feel, personally, and I've had an argument with several teachers, that the government should not be in control of the schools.
I agree.
Because when a government is in control of the schools, they can control what you teach the kids, which they can teach the kids what they want to teach them and not what they should be taught.
And let's just be blunt about this. The caliber and the mind fabric of a lot of these teachers coming into the teaching employ are people that absolutely are leftists. They don't know the value of America. They can't teach the value of the Constitution. They don't know the historical content of what happened with blood, sweat, and tears, and they're not being able to tell that to our young people.
Exactly. When they can't read the classic book, Tom Sawyer, as it was written.
Oh, my.
And it hurts their feelings. They should not be teaching children.
Yeah, you and I are on the same page here. I am so sick and tired of these little nickel and dime attitudes about, oh, America's bad. Oh, what they did back in 1861. Oh, my goodness, what they did in 1961 in Alabama. Oh, I tell you, the country's terrible. You can't be an American.
Well, I look at it this way. They want to hold families of slave owners liable for being slave owners. But one thing they forget, the majority of the slave owners were black.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you this right now, my dear friend, that I will guarantee you, I can guarantee you that before this program is up this morning, or before I get back on the air again next Monday, there will be somebody that doesn't want to be acknowledged because they haven't got the guts to stick their name on something or call me and let me know who it is. And they will criticize me and they'll say, what, that story you had about what's going on in South Africa can never happen here in this country. They are so doggone blinded by not being able to see what's 2 feet in front of them. It can happen here.
It can. They just need to quit drinking the Kool-Aid and verify. When in the 60s went on, they didn't trust big government. Question big government. Now, in the 2020s, 18s, we trust government, question people that question government.
But the wording, Doug, is so chilling. Of this news story that came out, it says the government will seize and redistribute white-owned land without compensation. Can you imagine, seriously, if this goes through and the vote was already in favor of this, 241 to 83, can you imagine you or I living over there and we're trying to protect our property and you know the government's going to come in there? They're going to get you out whether you have to do it with physical harm or even death, but they're going to take your property, or they're going to put you tied to a tree and they're going to say, you've had it. You're out of here, and all of your land, all of your holdings, all of your machinery, all of your crops, all of your livestock is going to be divided up into parcels to be given to others. And that is not such a far-fetched, scary thing. It can and might happen.
Yep, that's why history needs to be taught as history happened, not whitewash it to teach it like you think it should be taught.
Absolutely. This story, when Deanne handed it to me off the web this morning from the Daily Caller, a highly reputable news source, by the way, I'm going to save this because, Doug, I'm telling you, it's very chilling as to what might happen in another part of the world, but look out. Somebody's going to pick up on this.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And, back to the slaves here, where they're wanting to hold everybody liable for what happened 2 centuries ago.
Yeah.
Century ago. What about these DACA kids? I mean, we're not holding them responsible for what their parents did, but yet they want to hold us responsible for what our ancestors did.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something. I don't care who's offended by this. I'm going to say what I feel on this program. They should all be shipped out. They had an opportunity, Doug, to register, and most did not. And if you haven't got the decency to take care of the job, to solidify your part of staying in America, then I say don't let the doorknob hitch in the posterior on the way out.
Yep. And the ones that went into the military, I think they should stay.
Yeah.
Because they were willing to put their life on the line for this country.
Amen.
Which means they like this country.
And that has been said on this program numerous times. But when you have a group of these people at various parts of the United States, and I'm especially going to go back over to Disneyland in California, and they were standing there blocking the traffic of families trying to get in and enjoy a day at Disneyland, and they were demanding what the government do. Right there, I think it's time to get my little bitty snowplow on my four-wheeler, back up 300 feet, and hit them head on at 40 miles an hour.
Yep. I got a saying for the day, and then I'll talk about senior center.
Yeah, real quick. I'm way late on my weather. Go ahead. Quick.
Okay. Well, my saying for the day is politicians in diapers must be changed often.
It's true.
And for the same reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Go ahead. Quickly give us your little...
Everybody, let's take care of our senior centers. Let's treat them like they treated us when we was growing up. They took care of us, so let's take care of them.
All right, Doug. Thank you for your call. All right, buddy. Hey, don't forget Dr. Pickup and Dr. Mitchell are licensed doctors of audiology, and they've got 25 years combined experience serving the hearing impaired of all ages. They can and they will help you with your hearing health. Please, like I did, get a hold of them today and get a hearing screening. Call them at 312-0957. They're located right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Here's the weather.
Be prepared for some more white stuff in the forecast over the next couple of days. Here's your weather forecast for us up at the ranch. We are looking at snow likely for this morning, some in the lower elevations, but that's mainly going to be up in the higher elevations. A little bit on the breezy side as well. Total daytime accumulations of less than a half an inch possible, high of 40. Tonight's chance of rain or snow possible, and we are expecting accumulations of about an inch. Low of 32 for tonight. Tomorrow, more snow in the forecast, mostly in the morning. That could continue throughout the afternoon. And winds are going to be picking up for tomorrow as well. Accumulations of 1 to 2 inches possible for tomorrow. Expecting a high of 38 tomorrow night, pretty much the same. Mostly cloudy skies, low near 20. And then for Saturday, 30% chance of snow showers, mostly cloudy skies, and a high of 35. That's your weather forecast for us.
And I don't want any more snow. I don't like snow, but it's coming. Anyway, our weather brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. As I said, they are right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room, and the number to call for a hearing screening appointment, 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Hey, there is a great auction coming up on Saturday, put on by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. It's the Wade and Christine Miller sale, 11 o'clock on Saturday morning, this coming Saturday, March 3rd, located at Filer, Idaho, 1937 East, 4000 North. Look for the signs. They're going to have tractors. They're going to have trailers. They're going to have all kinds of farm equipment, irrigation equipment, shop items. This is going to be a ripping good sale put on by the Bennett Boys Auction Service, Joe Bennett and the crew, and it starts at 11 a.m. Saturday over in Filer. Don't forget the Bennett Boys Auction Service. There is no sale too big. There is no sale too small. The Bennett Boys, they sell them all. Okay. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. I would love to visit with you. What else have I got on my list here this morning? I wanted to just make a short comment, a very short comment, and not any speculation. I was a little bit miffed, and I've had many, many calls since yesterday regarding a front-page newspaper story that appeared in the Times News this morning. And it was about the cheer squad sues school. That was in big, bold print regarding Burley cheerleaders claim they were kicked off squad for sit-in. Now, on this program, we do not speculate, and we certainly do not take a newspaper story, which I thought was wrong to be put in the paper, until both sides could be representative of their viewpoints. This was not done. And for kind of a flagrant, I think it was a slap in the face to true journalism, to introduce a story that basically gives a slant to both to one side, because both sides did not get answers to questions, that's unfair. As a matter of fact, the district has not even been made aware of the lawsuit, and I find this story to be way putting the cart before the horse. And I will not comment on it. I will not take questions on it. The minute the story comes out in an entirety to where both sides are discussing what happened or what did not happen, then we will do the story on this program. And why I'm saying this now is because I had numerous calls yesterday, starting in the afternoon, regarding this. And I said, and I will continue to say, you'll hear about it on my program. I will make an opinion on my program, and it will be talked about on my program when both sides have a chance to respond to questions and answers. Okay. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Did you hear about Oprah Winfrey? Excuse me for choking. But Oprah was asked about possibly running for president. And she said, right now I lean no, like I'm not going to do it. But I'm going to talk to God, and I want him to give me a clear, definitive answer as to whether I should or not. Now, this just came up in the last 24 to 36 hours that she said this. Now, you realize, of course, that the woman that was hit with the ugly stick, Joy Behar, on The View, has criticized all Christians, and especially Vice President Mike Pence. Because he had said, and has said in many interviews and also in magazine articles and newspaper stories, that he absolutely, as a Christian, prays and waits for the answer from Jesus. And I don't think there's anything he should be ashamed about at all. I agree with him in all of its entirety of that statement. And then Joy Behar came out on The View, and she just absolutely came at him with her vile, filthy mind and tried to denigrate him as being crazy. I wondered this morning on The View, and I'm certainly not trying to help their ratings, but I wonder on The View this morning if Joy Behar is going to say the same vile kind of stupid comments against Oprah. That'll be interesting. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I just went to grab this commercial paper with my bullet points, and I tipped over just about everything. Nice move, Zeb. It's March 1st, and that means you can roll into spring worry-free with the great, great tires at the spring tire sale at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Wow, listen to this. I mean, they've got a tire called the Thunderer City. Thunderer City. I love that title. And it's an all-season traction tire, affordable pricing, just starting at $39.99. And then they've got the Eclipse tire for your automobile cars. Well, I guess an automobile is a car. That a boy, Zeb. The Eclipse tire, $61.97, all-season traction, advanced tread design. Oh, yeah, buddy. And then for your pickups and SUVs, the Open Country HT on sale right now. Ho, ho, ho! You'd better get in to any and all of the 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. The best in brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, all of this and more at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin. Of course, we've got Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome. I'm going to get back here. And also the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. Absolutely the best. That's not brag, that's a fact. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Wow. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And I mentioned earlier about boys' state basketball tournament starting this weekend. And if my grandson Dawson is listening, as now they're chugging away, getting up to Meridian to play in the state tournament, the first game this afternoon for Kimberly, I think they play Kellogg. Out of my memory, and I don't have the paper right here in front of me, they play Kellogg at 1:15. I just wish, and I hope and pray I could have been there, but we just couldn't make arrangements to get up there. If they win this first game, you can bet Grandpa and Grandma are going to be burning the roads up for Friday's game. Anyway, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Papa John's Pizza left the NFL, and I think that's a good thing. I mean that. They stood up for their principles. They stood up for their principles, and they said goodbye to the NFL if you're going to act in such a slovenly manner against our flag and our national anthem. And the NFL went out right away, and they got Pizza Hut to replace them. And, I just wish Pizza Hut would have shown a little bit more restraint instead of jumping over the dead body of Papa John's and jumping into the NFL, unless the NFL is going to clean up its act. But I doubt it. And you know who really the NFL's going after? They're going after Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, because Jerry is the only one of the owners that had the guts to stand up and criticize the multi-million-dollar contract of Commissioner Roger Goodell. So what does the NFL do? They don't go after these doggone lazy, slovenly, anti-American players. They go after Jerry Jones. Oh, my goodness. We're going to take a little break for 7 minutes. I got to calm down. News next from CBS. I'll see you in 7. Take care. Oh, good morning on a Thursday, and it looks like we may get some of that angel dandruff falling here shortly, if it isn't already. I see something out there. Anyway, good morning, Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, serving you, and a great big spring tire sale going on, along with some of our great, and these are really super advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. I also want to remind you about a great big sale that's going to be coming up this Saturday, Wade and Christine Miller sale, located at over in Filer, Idaho, at 1937 East 4000 North. Starts at 11 o'clock, and the Bennett Boys Auction Service. The Bennett Boys are putting this one on. Tractors and trailers and farm equipment and irrigation items. They got plastic pipe. They've got aluminum pipe. They've got shop equipment. They've got all. They even got neighbors consigning over there, too, with tractors and various equipment. This is going to be a great sale put on by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. Saturday at 11 o'clock, and that's in Filer, Idaho. Look for the signs. Bennett Boys Auction Service. No sale too big. No sale too small. The Bennett Boys. They sell them all. Also want to remind you, too, before we go to our Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce report, about our dear friend Joel Heward and, of course, his family and staff, serving you and your family at Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. You know, as I've said so many times on this program, boy, it's just devastating what happens after a family member passes away and the short time to get everything put together and know what to do. Wait a minute. Stop. They can help. They will help. All you need to do is give them a call at 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary in Rupert, and Joel Heward also serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and a lovely lady that's standing over there or sitting at her desk looking out at the ducks swimming in the river. Hello, Kyla at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce.
Hi, how are you?
I am Peachy. Hello?
Hi.
Are you there?
Yes, sir.
I said good morning. Were you ready to go?
Yeah, so some stuff that we have coming up this week and weekend is McCain's hiring event will be on Saturday from 10 to 2. The school district, Cassia County School District, will have a job fair at Burley High School on the 9th. And then something that has impacted our community lately that we really is kind of unfortunate to talk about, but something we do need to address, is Monday at 6 p.m. at the King Fine Arts Center. From 6 to 7:30 p.m. there will be a suicide prevention and awareness meeting. There are no students or children allowed at this meeting due to the sensitive nature of this topic.
Okay. And what else is going on over at the Chamber of Commerce?
We have some new members this month. Ace of Fades out in Rupert, which is a full-service barber shop, opened their doors last Friday on the 23rd. And then Lulabella Clothing, who is already open, they're located in Burley inside the Dragonfly Salon. They will have a ribbon cutting and event on March 13th.
Well, it sounds like you got a lot of things going on over there, and I'm sure you're in preparation for a big spring and summer travel and tourist influx here in the Magic Valley. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we're really excited for the summer. That's when we get most of the visitors coming and stopping by our visitor center, and a lot of people stopping by to partake in the river that we have in this lovely valley. We also have coming up the Women's Expo this year, which is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be an Idaho living theme and what it means to live in Idaho to you. It will be held at the Nature Valley Nursery and Market. That is across the street from the Burley Golf Course. It was normally held indoors, but this year we're trying to get it outdoors and get some more booths in there and some more demos by larger companies. We also have the Golf Scramble that's coming up. It's everyone's favorite event in June, and we are taking sponsors for that and the Idaho Living Expo as well.
Okay, what about the gift shop? Is that open every day? Tell us a little bit about that at the Chamber.
Yeah, so the Visitor Center and the gift shop are open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and there is a lot of free materials that I don't think a lot of people know they can have just by coming in here. There's maps and trails and all sorts of day trips that you can take, things to do and don't do in certain areas. It's actually really fun. So if you want to stop by the Visitor Center Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, we'd be more than happy to help you out.
You know, and I got to tell you, nobody notified me that it wasn't Kyla, and I believe it's you, Shay Lee. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
You should always get on the phone and say who you are, because the host has egg on his face. Listen,
you're fine.
What is your title and duty over there at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce?
I help the members. I'm over membership services.
Okay. Well, basically, what does that mean? What do you do?
I just go out and help the members and talk to them about what the chamber can do to help them grow their business, and then bring that back to the board, and we discuss it, and then I get back to that business about how we can help them and what we can do to further their business in the Mini-Cassia area.
Let me ask you, did you have to take special courses in college or whatever to attain the education to do this?
I didn't have to take special courses in college. I did, however, attend an IOM training, which is the Institute of Organization Management, and that was put on by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce in Arizona.
Oh, so you went down to Arizona with Kyla when she went down earlier this year, or was that a previous time?
Nope, we went down at the same time and both got that certification and training.
Okay, well, it sounds to me like you've got all your ducks in a row, and I do too now that I know who I'm talking to, and we certainly appreciate it. Tell everybody all the 973 ways they can get a hold of the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce.
Like you said earlier, you can stop by Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or you can give us a call at 208-679-4793. We also have social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and they are all at McChamber. So that's what you would search. And then we are also available by email at membership@minicassiachamber.com.
Very well done. Thank you, Shaylee. We appreciate it.
You're welcome, Jeff.
All right.
Have a great day.
Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. And it sounded like Kyla at the beginning. Nobody let me know. And Wheels, by the way, thank you for sending me that text. I appreciate that. Now that we know who we're talking to at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. Thank you very much. Big bull sale this Saturday. I mean, a ripping good bull sale. One of the best in the West. And that's not brag. That's the way it is. And that's going to be the Sheridan Ranch Bull Sale, 23rd annual, going on at the Burley Auction Yard, and it starts at 1 p.m. on Saturday, this coming Saturday. 80 bulls to sell, 30 coming 2-year-olds, about 50 yearlings. Oh my, good cattle. And there's a first-year breeding season guarantee for injury and mortality on all bulls, and they'll deliver free up to 300-mile radius. Hey, get in there this Saturday at the Burley Auction Yard. 1 p.m. for the Sheridan Ranch sale. You can call for more information, Cordell and Patty Sheridan at 824-5531, or go to their website, SheridanCattle.com. This is one of the West's best. Don't miss it. I want to also say thank you, and I mean this, to our dear friend Clay Handy. Clay's been on our program before, but, here about a month or so ago, we called and said, you know what, we'd like to have some sponsorship of our Idaho Legislative Update every Tuesday at 9:30. Wow, didn't take more than 10 seconds. Yes, sir, Clay Handy, Handy Truck Lines at 400 West, 100 South of Paul. Let me tell you what, they were established in 1928. Yep, and they're still serving all the Intermountain West, and they're celebrating their 90th year in operation. And they've got transportation services to Idaho and the surrounding states with terminals in Pocatello, Meridian, and Salt Lake City, Utah. And they say thank you to the good men and women that represent our state legislature, and they're sponsors of the Idaho Legislative Update on Tuesdays at 9:30. Thank you, Handy Truck Lines. Let me see what else I've got here before I jump over to our friends at the station. I want to remind you quickly, if I may, about some other great folks, and that includes somebody that we're going to be talking to a little bit later on this morning, and that's Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Nick and the whole crew. Nick's going to be on the program telling us all about the four-wheelers, getting ready for spring. Boy, he's optimistic. I am too. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. And the best of all the four-wheelers, the best of all the accessories, and if you have four-wheelers, get them serviced now in their great service department. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, and this is where the fun is sold. Right now, we're going to send it over to Wheels and our studio because we're going to learn more about some of the great, great people and some of the various departments that are serving you at the Cassia Regional Hospital.
Caring about you and your health care in the most professional and progressive ways. That's Cassia Regional Hospital, located at 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. In a moment, we'll introduce you to just one of the many dedicated medical experts serving you at Cassia Regional Hospital. Today's program, right after this. Cassia Regional Hospital provides you and your family excellent health care answers and services. They're right here, close to home. That's right. Cassia Regional Hospital offers the latest technological advances in medicine, like their new oncology programs and telehealth, which uses electronic information and telecommunications to promote long-distance patient and clinical health care. Your friends, your neighbors. Cassia Regional Hospital, 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. Quality care, close to home. Welcome to the program for today, and I'm very honored to have with us from Cassia Regional Hospital, Lillian Newey, and she is going to talk about living well with chronic conditions. What does that mean?
So it is a self-management program that Intermountain has worked with Stanford University. It is evidence-based, and it helps us in a 6-week course help patients manage and get tools so that they can live with those chronic conditions.
What kind of chronic conditions are you talking about?
So you're talking anything across the board. It could be, a chronic condition could be something like depression to diabetes. Mm-hmm. It could be chronic pain. It could be, sometimes we have patients who have had cancer and end up with chronic conditions as a result. If you have a thyroid dysfunction, it's something that you're going to have long-term that you have to live with. And that's what really affects them chronically, and it's never going to go away. But there are methods and things that they could do to self-manage and help that condition along and have the tool belt so that they could live a better life with that.
So when you say tool belt, you've piqued my interest right here. So you're going to sit down at this Living Well with Chronic Conditions, and the folks in the audience are going to be those with the chronic conditions. And you're going to give them ideas and concepts as to how they can perhaps overlook the problem and still have a very enjoyable life.
Correct. Our facilitators are actually individuals who themselves have chronic conditions or have family members that have chronic conditions. And then we invite the community to come and participate and learn with us. We go through things like managing your medications or doing some self-management through meditation or knowing what questions to ask your physicians, being prepared and really becoming a partner in your health care.
So these folks that are living with chronic conditions, I mean, I've lived with pain and chronic conditions for a long time because of my legs and all the surgeries and everything. But you got to get out of bed and put a smile on your face in the morning whether you like to or not.
Correct. And this program really allows you to kind of pace yourself, train yourself, and have different ways and understand that, yes, you're going to have bad days. But if you can plan ahead, if you can communicate to your loved ones how you're feeling, you're going to find that you're going to have a lot more satisfied go with that condition versus just giving up.
Well, let me ask you this question then. You said your loved ones. Are the folks with the chronic conditions going to be the only ones at the meeting? I would see and say that it would be beneficial to have like a mom and dad or a spouse there too.
Correct. And we actually, when we open up the chronic conditions, we often invite those that are participating in the care of the patient because it is important for them to also understand what their spouse or loved one or child is going through and to know how to help and how to help them cope through those moments because you're going to have your ups and downs with anything, and having, someone to be your partner and that can remind you of that tool is really important.
Now, when you say that, Lillian, in regards to that tool, can you give us kind of a breakdown as to what the seminar is going to entail and what's going to be said during that time?
So, yes, so during the 6-week course, it is
6 weeks.
It's 6 weeks, one time a week, and it's about 2 hours that we spend. So it is quite lengthy, but we just go through action planning. So that is a tool where you kind of decide, I'm going to make a little small step, and you become accountable to the peers that you're working with and come back and say, I'm going to try and walk maybe 3 times this week. And I'm going to go ahead and do it on Monday and Wednesday and Friday. I'm going to do it at the beginning of the day because that's the time that I have the time. And what's the likelihood of me doing this? I think I have a confidence level of a 9. I have my shoes next to me. So you just kind of break it down step by step. And then as you move forward, then you come back the next week and you report, how successful were you at doing this? And you have a team now that is just encouraging you. And it's just a habit-forming way of you to take care of yourself. That's one of the great tools that I personally have loved. And I've taken the class and I've taught the class. And I have taken a few things from there that have really helped me. I was having difficulty sleeping, so one of my goals was to go ahead and do some meditation at night. And that has become now one of my favorite things. And I can find meditation really quickly and do about 10 minutes of it, and I'm out. And that has really helped me so I can go to bed at a certain time and I can be better. And it helps my family because then I'm not as cranky the next day because I'm taking care of myself.
Let me ask you this, and I don't have a smidgen of the knowledge on this that you do, but I would imagine that this is more or less of a mind training course.
It has some mind training. We also take a look at nutrition. So we go a week on the plate method and what's recommended.
Now, what do you mean by that?
So the plate method will sit there and break down how much of a carbohydrate, how much of a protein, and how much of a vegetable. We've all seen the little pyramids that are available, but it just kind of puts it more into a perspective that you can take a look and say, okay, I can handle this. We try to make it down to a level that everybody can understand it, and it's not the medical training or, the general surgeon recommends this, and sometimes things go above our heads. And so it's a good way, and like I said, Stanford has been doing this for several years now.
And they are the best.
And they have implemented this worldwide.
Yes.
This program is now available in various languages, so Intermountain was really happy to be able to partner up. And we have been doing this in Salt Lake for quite some time. We just had our first class here last fall, and this year we're going to be having 4 classes, one starting in March. Then we're going to do one that's only based on chronic pain, and we will be doing that starting in May.
Now, what are the dates exactly of the one in March as we come up?
So we are looking at March 14th through April 18th.
And do they have to pre-register?
Yes. So if they want to call Kasia, and we have a number of 208-677-6212.
Okay.
We can certainly get them enrolled, and they just need to let us know how many people are coming. We provide a light dinner for them to come. It is
the plate theory, right?
Yeah, we do it from 5:15 to 7:30.
I see.
And I think it's going to be a great opportunity for people to gain tools.
You know, I really am enthused about this because people living in pain or with chronic conditions, and they think, oh, woe is me. There's a lot of hope out there, isn't there?
Yeah, and, you know, we are committed at Kasia Regional to provide our patients to be able to live the healthiest life possible. And so we are really excited to offer this to our community.
And are you the program manager?
I am the program manager at this time, and I will be leading some of these classes throughout the year.
Well, you've got a great big smile on your face, and I think you're going to be excellent at this, and we'll look forward to it. At Kasia Regional Hospital, Lillian Newey talking about living well with chronic conditions right here on information about Kasia Regional Hospital.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tune in every Thursday at 9:18 right here on Zeb at the Ranch for more about the people and the healthcare services at your Kasia Regional Hospital, 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. Quality care close to home.
And thank you very much. Every time I do one of those programs with the great folks over at Kasia Regional, really learn a lot. They are very, very well informed and helping you at Kasia Regional. I appreciate that. I want to remind you, too, I had this note on last hour. I'll say it again. Raft River Rodeo Club is going to have their annual dinner and auction on Friday, March 9th at 6:30 p.m. Now, it's going to be held at the Raft River High School gym, and they've got, they said, a ton of great auction items, including handmade quilts, log bench, and all kinds of goodies. Dinner includes, oh, this sounds good, pulled pork, rolls, your choice of dessert, and all the funds that are earned are going to go to help the kids in high school rodeo and send the top cowboys and cowgirls to state and national. And that's the Raft River Rodeo Club, and we wish them a great event. Also, let me see, coming up on this coming Saturday, the Rupert United Methodist Church is going to be presenting a talent show on this coming Saturday, March 3rd at 605 H Street in Rupert at 7 p.m. under the direction of Cliff Hebe. It's going to be a very fun-filled night, and the community is encouraged to come and enjoy the evening, and there will be a free will donation taken. And for more information, call the church at 436-3354. Okay, now, also want to remind you, too, about our great friends over in Rupert on Highway 24, and that's Cameron and Siemens Insurance. Yes, Todd and the whole crew with the best of life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and more to protect you, your family, and your business. And you call over there, make an appointment at 436-4424, and they are dedicated and very accessible and devoted to serving your needs. So please take the initiative, make the appointment, call them at 436-4424, Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Really nice people. I had one other little news note that I needed to get on, a public service announcement, and this is going to be also, and this is coming up on March 18th. They wanted me to have you be aware, a concert commemorating the retirement of Stan Bruns from the position of Director of Music at the Rupert United Methodist Church will be held on Saturday, March 18th at 7 p.m. And so put that on your calendar and be ready. Let me see. What else have we got cooking? Weather forecast calling for some snow today and tomorrow. We're going to have a complete comprehensive weather forecast in about 15 minutes or so. Right now, we're going to go to the phone line, and we say good morning to one of my favorite people on Thursdays, and that is the lovely Rita Ramsey. Good morning, Rita. How are you?
Good morning. I'm real good.
By the way things might shape up for the next couple of days, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, we are having winter a little bit after we thought we were going to have spring, but it is still winter, so I guess that's just what we get.
Rita, what are your thoughts about what's going on in this country since the absolute heinous crime committed by that killer in Florida at that high school? And then, of course, automatically, you knew, I knew, there was going to be a clamoring for gun control or gun confiscation or more gun laws added. Give us kind of your thought about what's going on.
Well, I feel really bad to think that there aren't more people standing up for the Constitution. It's kind of sad that Trump has kind of gone back into his liberal ways and saying, well, you know, we just need to do this and we need to do that, and jumping on it instead of saying, hey, you know, there's a process that needs to happen. This is what we need to do. I think that the main thing that needs to happen is you make sure you don't have any no-gun zones. Because if you have no gun zones,
Absolutely.
That just makes wherever it is, whether it's a home or whatever, a school, you're telling somebody there's nobody going to confront you with a gun. Therefore, you can bring a gun in and do whatever you want.
Well, one of the most...
The part that's bad is nobody will look at it and say, you know, a gun can't kill anybody if a person doesn't pick it up and use it.
Right. One of the most...
We've got to get rid of the guns. We've got to get rid of the guns.
I'm sorry. We had a little delay there. I didn't mean to walk in on you. One of the most idiotic and senseless and stupid places to announce that it's a gun-free zone is our military bases, Rita.
Well, and that's the other part. Why on earth would you have no gun zones on a military base?
Oh,
I mean, that just doesn't even make any sense. That just tells you that, and this was, I don't know, I guess it could have been prior to Obama, but I think those things were pretty much put into place and set in stone during the Obama administration. I don't know for sure, and maybe I'm blaming somebody that doesn't deserve blame, but things sure started ramping up with the Obama administration. The thing of it is the Second Amendment was given to the citizenry of the United States to protect them from the government, to protect their freedoms. It wasn't, well, the Second Amendment is just so you can protect your family or your, shoot game so that you can eat or anything like that. It was to have a well-armed citizenry so that they could make sure that a tyrannical government didn't try to take over. And so here we are trying to say, well, we need to get the gun rights kind of changed because people are getting killed and everything else. Well, there were more stabbings with knives than there were gun shootings. There were more deaths with cars and vehicles than there are with guns. How come we're not banning all of those? I mean, the things that they're doing just doesn't make any sense. It's just somebody's agenda. And, they say, well, you should only be able to have certain kinds of guns. I heard somebody say, if you start saying what kinds of guns you can have and you can't have, then, of course, we know the military is going to have the guns that they need and that are the most powerful to do what they do, which is to protect our country. But if the military has guns and the citizenry doesn't, then the military can do whatever maybe the dictator, who could be the president, turns into a dictator, tells them to do. And so here you've got the basis of, well, people have a few little guns here and there, but they don't have other things. It's like, okay, so citizenry gets a pea shooter and the military gets the high velocity guns and that type of thing. That's not what the Second Amendment was about. We need to make sure that those who want to have guns follow the process but you don't start taking part of them away and doing this and that and the other. And it really, really concerned me when Trump said, take the firearms first and then go to court and see if it's okay. So in other words, if you think somebody's got a gun and they shouldn't have it, you just take it away and have him go to court and say why he needs it. Well, that's not the way we do things.
There were, and I listened to this intently yesterday at that White House meeting, there were some good, there were some stupid, and there were some remarks that Trump said that absolutely I think he should have kept in his mouth and in his mind, because he said some things that didn't make sense. That was one of them. But I'm going to say this. Of all the gun laws that are on the books already, that are not being enforced just like our immigration laws, why in the world do we need more laws, and why, in your opinion, are most of the laws that they want to put out on the American public are going to be against the honest citizenry? In other words, why am I being penalized, potentially, with gun laws that are going to try to take away my security when I'm not hurting and I'm not breaking any laws?
Well, that's just it. If they do start taking guns away, you and I know who are going to have the guns, and that's the people who shouldn't have them. And so, I mean, it's going to be the criminals.
Right.
It's not going to be the law-abiding citizen. The big deal is that there's a number of countries around the world in just the last 40 years who have taken guns away from their citizenry, and it's because the government wants to be in charge. It hasn't made a difference. It isn't. You know, people always say, oh, Australia, da, 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 da. Yeah, Australia didn't ask people to turn in their guns. They said, you will. It was a gun confiscation
That's right.
thing. Same with Venezuela and a number of other countries. And most of those countries, I'm not saying all of them, most of those countries have turned into communist dictatorships to where the people are now oppressed because they have no way to fight off their government.
I want to switch to another story, if I could, and I don't know if you were listening first hour or not, but I've talked about this very vile woman for the last couple of days, and that is the Oakland, California mayor. I have come out and I have said, and I will stand behind my statements, that I think they should go into her office today, put her in handcuffs, and take her straight to jail, not with a Monopoly card, get-out-of-jail-free card. She should sit there and languish there, and she should learn the punishment of breaking federal law. Why in the world are we accepting her absolutely anarchist feelings, and they're being applied to the laws and how they're going to go for illegal aliens when those people shouldn't be here in the first place?
Well, and they shouldn't, and what she did was absolutely reason to recall her out of her position, and she does need to go to jail. She was obstructing justice,
yes.
And it's really sad because what she did was I'm trying to protect our citizenry, the families and stuff, because they're coming for these people who it's going to separate families and everything. Well, first of all, the people that they were coming after were murderers and gang people and those who have been in trouble with the law
yes.
numbers of times and who are totally, totally a threat to the public. And she gives them a warning, and they should have been in jail anyway. It wasn't Joe who came here to work, and he's working as a landscaping person, and his wife works as a housekeeper, and they're just raising their little family here in America where there's freedom. That isn't who ICE was going after. So now there's at least 800 illegal immigrants who've been convicted of crimes that are a threat to public safety that are still out there, and it's because of her. I think they ought to put her into jail and let her spend a little time with some of those dangerous illegals, and just let her spend time with them, see how that works out for her.
But I guess what I'm going after here this morning is there are speed limits. There are thou shalt not do laws, like going out and stealing from someone or assaulting someone. And if we let this woman basically thumb her nose at laws that our government has put in place through Congress passing those laws, we are going to have nothing in this country but anarchy. And I think that if we let her skate on this ice and not be imprisoned or arrested, I think we've made a huge mistake that we can never correct.
Oh, absolutely. And if she gets away with it, that'll happen in all of the blue cities who have decided they're going to be sanctuary cities. And it's just going to be absolutely out of control, worse than it is now. The other thing that's really sad about it is she needs to go to jail. She needs to be arrested, and they need to go and get a warrant for her arrest and put her in jail, and then show her and all of their citizenry just exactly who these people were, how come they were bad. Certainly she had to know that, but she's just such a leftist. It's like, oh, if they're coming, I'm just going to warn everybody, and I'm going to, take them at every corner and uproot anything that they're trying to get set in place.
But what she's doing is absolutely not any worse or any better than what Rahm Emanuel, the mayor of Chicago, is trying to do by this week providing a Chicago key card, a citizen card, to illegal aliens. And you know as well as I do, Rita, the reason they're doing this is to buy the votes.
That's absolutely the only reason. They want to let them vote, and as long as they can do that. The other thing is, and I'm not sure how this works, and I guess it would probably behoove me to do a little more investigating, but I think that when these cities have lots and lots of people that either go on their welfare rolls or whatever, they get more federal monies to take care of them. Yes. And I think that they're using that money to pad their nests rather than really doing what they need to be doing. But they're doing it illegally, and they're being fraudulent in what they're doing as far as the money goes. The other thing is if you can't speak English and don't know who you're voting for, you have no right to vote. And you better be a citizen. That's what I don't understand, why they think that it's okay for illegals to vote.
Yesterday after the program, I had a call, and the person, one of those cowards, I didn't know who it was, just kind of an unknown name, unknown number, etc., chewed me out for always railing against the Democratic Party and the left liberals. Well, I told him I'm not going to stop, because absolutely I think they are going to be the downfall of America. And earlier this morning when I started on the program, I don't know if you heard the beginning, but I had that note that was sent to me about the Democratic Party being the world's most successful hate group because of who they reach out to. They attract poor people who hate the rich, black people who hate the whites, gay people who hate straight people, feminists who hate men, environmentalists who hate the internal combustion engine, bratty college kids who hate their parents. It goes on and on. Really, tell me I'm wrong, because that's a very good synopsis.
No, that's exactly right. And the only way that you can overtake a society and get in charge is if you can cause discord. And that has been their number one thing for years and years and years. They want to be in charge. They will cause any kind of discord that they can, see if they can't get people, against each other and the whole thing. Just one example of that, and you would think that these guys should be on the same page, is how many times do you hear a quote, Trump said this about Jeff Sessions. Jeff Sessions fired back at Trump, and da-da-da-da-da. Well, if you start reading the real thing, it was actually a tweet that Trump made, and Sessions, this one that I'm talking about that happened yesterday, was, he says, as long as I'm Attorney General, I'll continue to discharge my duties with integrity and honor, and this department will continue to do its work in a fair and impartial manner, according to the law and Constitution. That isn't what kind of a Attorney General we had the last 8 years. This guy knows what he's doing, and he's doing it right.
Absolutely.
And here is the press trying to put a big chasm between the Attorney General and the President.
Absolutely. Rita, stand by, please. I've got to get a weather forecast and a quick commercial in. I'll be right back. I want to talk to you about a story that was just handed to me earlier in the morning, and it frightens me. I want to talk to you about that momentarily. I want to remind everybody about Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. It's time to beautify the house. Oh, my, I got spring fever. I know Deanne does, too. We can't wait. I mean, man, look around the house. You've been in there all winter long, and you need to freshen things up a little bit. Maybe you need some new furniture. Maybe you need a new recliner. Maybe you need a new kitchen set. Maybe you need more couches. Maybe you need new carpet and flooring. Well, I know the place to go, and that's Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Oh, what a crew. Jeff and the rest of those folks really know and understand the beautification of your home. Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. You stop in and see them today at Lee's Furniture. Right now it's time for our weather, and it's brought to you by Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cassia area for well over 50 years. I hate to say this, but it's true. It's tax time. You better get everything figured up and go to the best. The best is Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. For your tax return preparation, tax planning, bookkeeping services, retirement planning, the list goes on. Great folks, professional folks serving you. With offices in Burley and Rupert, Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. Right now, here's the weather.
Be prepared for some more white stuff in the forecast over the next couple of days. Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are looking at snow likely for this morning, some in the lower elevations, but that's mainly going to be up in the higher elevations. A little bit on the breezy side as well. Total daytime accumulations of less than a half an inch possible, high of 40. Tonight's chance of rain or snow possible, and we are expecting accumulations of about an inch. Low of 32 for tonight. Tomorrow, more snow in the forecast, mostly in the morning. That could continue throughout the afternoon. And winds are going to be picking up for tomorrow as well. Accumulations of 1 to 2 inches possible for tomorrow. Expecting a high of 38 tomorrow night, pretty much the same. Mostly cloudy skies, low near 20. And then for Saturday, 30% chance of snow showers, mostly cloudy skies, and a high of 35. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
And brought to you by Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, with offices in Burley and Rupert, serving you with the best of accounting services to the Mini-Cassia area for over 50 years. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. Rita, there was a story that was given to me, and when I read it, it has a very chilling effect as to what might be happening in another part of the world, but what could happen here. I was talking about that vote of the South Africa Parliament. They voted on Tuesday of this week to move forward and change the country's constitution that would allow the government to seize and redistribute white-owned land and not pay any compensation. Now, already during the news, I had a call and somebody said, well, that will never happen here in the United States. Whoa, wait a minute. If it happens in one spot, it can certainly grow like a cancer in another.
Well, it has already happened in our country. It happens often. You get these cities and counties that think that they need to take somebody's property and give it to somebody else and say, well, you'll take this much money for it. And they say, no, I won't. Then they say, fine, we'll just take it, and this is all you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying, you know what, if you want to sell it, we'll buy it, but if you don't, okay. I mean, this has happened all over everywhere. We've seen dozens of instances where, you know, a little old lady who lived there for 55 years, and she's a widow, and she has really no place else to go and doesn't want to go, and it's like, no, you're going to sell it to us so we can put you out, and here's some money, and they give it to her, and no, she's not going to do it, so then they lower the value that they were going to offer to begin with and just kick her out and say this is public, you know, what is it, public domain,
mm-hmm.
We do whatever we want, or eminent domain, and we're going to take it. And I mean, it happens all the time, and people don't stand up to it and say, no, this isn't right, and it's just really sad. And if they make a law like that, then that just gives them more that they can do, and it will happen here because those types of things start a domino effect around the world with other countries or cities or whoever's involved saying, well, they did this, and so let's try it. And pretty soon It's happening and people don't even know about it.
Yeah, and what was so blatant about this story, and I agree with you with eminent domain, etc. already, but the newly elected South African President Cyril Ramaphosa said that he would work to hasten the transfer of land to black people. They're just being very obstinate about it. They're going to kick the whites out of the country. This is absolutely obscene.
Well, it is, and it's really sad, but we know from fact that you can do all the compensating in the world that you want, and it never ends. And so for them to just start telling people, get out of here and go, I mean, there were lots and lots of people who lost, various different things that happened during World War II when FDR decided he was going to intern the Japanese. Most of them lost their business and everything that they had, the places where they lived, and they were carted off to places like down by Hazleton and many other places where they were just kind of stuck for a couple of years in horrendous conditions, and then they didn't have their businesses to go back to because somebody had taken over them. So that's just one, big, blatant example, but it can happen in many, many different areas, and once the government starts doing it, boy, you don't stop them. They just can keep on going.
Well, and when you say about some things that stop and you can't stop them, that leads me into our last little tidbit here this morning as we talk about the big mouth and the slow to think Joy Behar. She came out, as you well know, we talked about this last week a little bit, and severely criticized Vice President Trump for being a Christian and praying, etc. But then, day before yesterday, ironically, Oprah Winfrey said in an interview asking whether or not she would run for president, she said, well, I'm going to have to sit down and have a real good talk with God, and he's going to have to give me and supply me a really clear-cut answer before I decide. I wonder if the big mouth Joy Behar will criticize Oprah.
Oh, no, because she's on her side of the fence. They only criticize the ones that they disagree with. And it's really, really sad when you have that kind of discourse going on. There's no reason for it in public, period. If Behar wants to say something like that, just kind of like off the cuff or when she's doing a stand-up comedian act or something. But on TV where, everybody's going to pick up on it and it just turns a big divisive debate going here and there, and we're going to be against you and this and that and the other because you are Christian or you're not, or, there's no sense in it. It just kind of reminds me of how the atheists and the LGBT activists complain about Billy Graham being honored at the U.S. Capitol and lying in state. For crying out loud, there's probably not anybody in the Christian world that has done more than he has tried to do as far as encouraging people to live by the basic things that Jesus taught. Good grief.
Yeah, absolutely. One final thought, and it was really hard for me to watch this morning, but I wanted to get your response to it. I watched the interview with the mother of one of the teenage girls that was killed in a just absolute heinous manner by MS-13 gang members back in New York. And in the courtroom on Monday, the MS-13 gang members that were brought in, they turned and they laughed and they scoffed at the grieving parents. And I listened to the mother this morning, and I am absolutely amazed as to the composure she had. Had that been me sitting in that courtroom and they would have gone by and laughed and scoffed at my wife and I, honestly, Rita, I don't think I could have contained myself.
Well, it's really sad, and until we start getting this illegal stuff under control, we're not going to keep the gangs under control. And when they can do something like that, I was reading that article, and it mentioned the way that they killed those girls, and how they did know, well, it was just part of, the gang thing that we do, and we called and got approval, and everything was good. And it's kind of like, they didn't just kill them, they beat them to death with bats.
Yeah.
It was so horrendous.
And these parents are going through pure hell right now, and then having to sit through that courtroom and then be laughed at and scoffed at by the killers. It takes a strong person to sit there and absorb that.
Well, it does, and I'm sure that because it's been a couple of years now probably since that happened, she's finally had to just realize, I just have to shut out all the criticism because there's so much there, and there's so many people who are on the side of these creeps.
Yeah.
Instead of, the whole country getting behind them and saying, this should never happen and let's do such and such to see if we can't stop it. No, let's put them on a pedestal. Let's put them out on national TV and let them, just be the topic of the day. And I mean, it's kind of like, why in the world?
Yeah. Rita, thank you. I always appreciate your opinions. Thank you very much on the program, Rita Ramsey, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Wonderful lady right there on a Thursday. And on a Thursday, about this time of the morning, after that little bowl of cereal at 4 o'clock, I get a little hungry, and actually I'm starving to death. How about let's go to the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. Milkshakes. They got strawberry, they've got red raspberry, they've got them all. How about with a country fried steak sandwich? Oh, that is good, with an order of fries, special sauce, or maybe a Farmer Brown burger. Food's great. Always is, always will be at the AC Drive-In, East Main in Burley. How about moving over to Taco Bandito, 2301 Oberlin in Burley, one of the great gathering places for people to have coffee in the morning, along with a breakfast burrito, scrambled eggs, bacon, sausage, cheese, onions, tomatoes, sauce on a tortilla shell. What a way to start the day. Great way. Along with all the menu items all day long at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. And let's not forget Burgers, etc. Two locations serving you at 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. And they've got that mushroom burger combo, only $5.99 after 3 p.m. Oh, it is good. And every Sunday at the Burley location, shrimp dinner, only $5.99. Great people. What a menu at Burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. Let's move to Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Oh, my. I get a lot of calls about that chaos salad. It is phenomenal. Chicken breast with bacon, pickles, jalapeno peppers, lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, all the veggies. Oh, it is good. And a different soup every day. You're going to love the people and the food at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Stop in, see them all today. Right now, we're going to get ready to send it back over to our main studios for about 7 minutes. And then when we come back, we will have Cassia County School Days and our business salute. And then we have a gentleman on the program this morning by the name of Kip Colson. And we're going to be talking about gas taxes. So don't go away. Zeb at the Ranch. And a good morning to you. Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, and that's, of course, our Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. Don't forget Big Spring Tire Sale starts today. Stop in. And some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. In a few moments, we're going to have Cassia County School Days, but before we do, I want to remind you about a great business helping you and your livestock and your pets, and that's, of course, Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. These are wonderful people. Dr. Bill and the crew, they've been voted Minnecastia's best veterinary hospital for multiple years, and right now, if you got puppy dogs, don't forget the shot for the parvovirus. Get them in there, get that taken care of. And if they need their teeth cleaned, don't forget that. Nothing worse than puppy breath. Woo! And don't forget, too, Ark Animal Hospital is a mixed animal practice, meaning big or small, they love them all at Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. Number to call, 678-1177. They do have the warm hearts for the cold noses. I want to remind you, too, I've said this many, many times, there is going to be a phenomenal, big, one of the West's best, outstanding bull sales coming up at the Burley Auction Yard this Saturday, starting at 1 p.m. Yep, going to be there at the Burley Auction Yard, and they're going to be selling 80 head of bulls, 30 coming 2-year-olds, and 50 yearlings from the Sheridan Ranch. These folks have really put together an outstanding offering of bulls, and for all ranchers all over the Northwest, they should be here. Cordell and Patty Sheridan. The number to call for more information, 824-5531, or go to their website, SheridanCattle.com. Absolutely excellent cattle. Like I said, 30 coming 2-year-olds, 50 yearlings, free delivery up to 300 miles. That's the big Sheridan Ranch Bull Sale coming up at the Burley Auction Yard this Saturday at 1 p.m. Don't you miss it. We are getting ready to tell you all about Cassia County School Days. And, of course, our two main sponsors, A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. And they just celebrated their great big 15th anniversary birthday party. And they've got all the clothing, and they've got all the furniture, and they've got all the games, and the toys and the puzzles, and spring dresses are already arriving there. Holy moly, you'd better get in there today. A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. Along with our friends at the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley. And for your outpatient surgeries, they will and they can save you money. So please get a hold of them today. Call 677-8888. That number again, 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center and A Child's World, bringing you Cassia County School Days. With me on the program, Cassia County Schools Communications Officer Debbie Critchfield. Good morning to you.
And good morning.
How are you?
I am doing well. I hear you're getting a bit of snow.
It's just kind of waving around in the breeze out there right now, but I don't like snow, and I don't want any more snow. I'll pass it over to you.
Well, it is winter. And so I'm going to try to be positive.
Okay. What are we going to be talking about this morning?
Well, I've got a couple of things I want to mention, and then if you've got things, we can use our time however you'd like. First thing I want to mention is that on Monday, this coming Monday, at 6 o'clock at Burley High School's Little Theater, we are putting on a community event for adults on the topic of suicide awareness and prevention.
Ooh,
and I don't know how much you have paid attention to or gotten into the discussion of suicide, but not only in our area, but particularly Idaho and our region, this is a real issue and a real concern.
Mm-hmm.
And we've heard it from parents. We hear it in schools. We know that students have stress and a variety of emotions. And one of the things that we like to do as a school district is connect our community with appropriate resources. And so, as you will know her because she called into your program, Kim Kane, she's going to come and present to parents, guardians, adults. We are, because of the sensitive nature of the topic, have been advised that we ask folks to leave their children and their students at home. That's a different conversation. And so we're encouraging the community to come again. That's on Monday. It's a free event. I don't even want to call it an event, but a free discussion. And I think the information is timely and very critical.
You know, we really respected you and others for helping line up Kim Kane to come on my program. I think it was about 2 months ago. And it is a topic that absolutely, it's unfortunate that it's so taboo and that so many people stay away from it because they're scared to talk about the topic. But I'll just come right out and say I think we need to have a ton more discussion and be much more open-minded as to what's going on.
I agree with that. And we're hearing it from families. We are seeing increases at our schools, visits to the counselors, visits from parents to the counselor saying, I've noticed that my child has anxiety or depression or stress, and what do I do? What are the resources? How do I address this? And I think that this is becoming a larger societal topic, and so we look and we like to again, match some of the training that we do in the community with the needs, and we're hoping that the people will take advantage of it. So
Debbie,
that's one thing that we've got going next week. And the other thing that we hope anybody will come to, and this would be countywide, and there's no age restriction here. Our board is hosting a town hall on Wednesday, March 7th, starting at 6:30, again at Burley High School's Little Theater. One of the things that we have heard that is frustrating for people who attend board meetings is that they're not able to participate in that meeting. And so it is a open or public meeting, but it is not open for public comment. And so giving an opportunity and hearing some of the conversations that we've had when folks come to the meeting, we always encourage people, hey, come to the school board meeting so that you can hear that discussion. The purpose of that monthly board meeting is for the board to conduct their business, not to necessarily interact with the community. And so as a response to some of the talk that we've heard, the board would like to invite folks to come. The topics are going to be dependent upon the questions that are asked. And there's a variety of things that folks are talking about. We've got an upcoming supplemental election. We've got safety issues. We've got new boundaries that are coming. We've got facility needs. And so any and everything would be on the table.
You know, I'm sitting here and I'm listening to what you're saying, and it just sounds like you and the rest of the Cassia County School District are trying to be and are so transparent to welcome and open your arms to people that want to voice their opinion or ask questions. I don't think anybody can fault you for what you're trying to do.
There are many people that fault us. And so we're trying. And as you know, our board members, it's an unpaid board. And there are people who live and work in this community, and we elect them to go and represent the various parts of our county. And they have every interest and every desire to have input and make decisions, policy decisions, and other administrative decisions that are reflective of what the community would like them to do. And the only way we can accomplish that is when folks actually will talk to them and not wait until it's the hot button issue. And I know sometimes we go along and then there's something that happens, for example, with safety. We've heard a lot about safety in light of what we went through last week. And that is great. We want that feedback. But we also say, let's not wait until we're at a crisis point before folks communicate with us.
You know, let me ask you about that, and I know that we never rehearse anything or talk about any questions or whatever on this program, but after last week and the horrendous happenings in Florida, what is leadership thinking about how to tighten down, if you will, the security at all schools? What are some of the most prominent thoughts?
Well, we're going to have a debriefing. We've been kind of collecting all the parts of this to sit down with all of our parties, our building administrators, and some of our directors, and say, what did we learn from this? What did we hear? What are some of the expectations? What worked? We know that we had some protocols in place that worked well. We also know that we had some gaps. One of the things that we're trying to address with this upcoming supplemental election is to accomplish some of these other safety considerations. I've had a lot of talk from people that say, what is the school stance on arming teachers? What does Idaho law allow? What does the board allow? Do we train teachers? Do we have firearms at school? Do we post signs? We've seen all sorts of national examples of how school districts are dealing with this. And I believe that our board is open to these types of conversations and hearing from folks. And what do we want that to look? What do we want that to look like?
Debbie, one of the things that I would say that needs to be addressed, and I'm not hearing too much on either the national news or even locally, and I certainly didn't hear it yesterday brought up at that White House meeting, is the word access. The access points to our schools seem to be, in most cases, very accessible, and that is a point of contention I think needs to be closed up, if you will.
One of the things that we have sought to do over the last few years, and we're not all the way there with all of our schools, is to limit the access in every way, shape, and form. Folks that go to school will know that you have to be buzzed in. Every single door around the facility is locked, except for the main. You go in through the first set of doors, You buzz a button. There's a camera in the office that sees who you are, and then they let you in. Our new schools, John Evans and Deckel Elementary, have those, and they're like, that's slipping my mind. However, that is something that we are working towards having that ability everywhere. We ask our teachers and to wear their badges so that students know that this is a safe person. If a visitor comes in, we always say to visitors, please stop at the office and get something that identifies you. We do a lot of training with our students. If you see something, say something. If there's a stranger that you're uncomfortable with, you need to say something. And so that is something that we actually have been working on for several years.
The other thing, I was listening to a program, I think it was on Monday, and I can't remember even what network or what the show was, and they were talking about having perimeter access limitation as far as people pulling up in cars that you don't know or that really don't belong on the school grounds. Is there any talk or consideration about this?
There hasn't been, and that's not to say that there won't be. I think with what we went through last week, anything and everything is up for consideration. Just off the top of my head, I don't know logistically how you manage something like that, short of hiring someone to be out there to actually monitor your traffic. I don't know.
The other point that was brought up, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but you're a lady that is very well versed with different answers, is the actual campus itself. In many instances, they are wide open when the children are at recess, etc. Are there thoughts and any ideas about that?
Wide open in the sense that they're outside, monitored, or closed in the sense that they're monitored by numerous recess duties. We have our areas fenced in. We like to keep the children corralled into certain areas, and not, obviously, we always have escapees that, like to kind of get out away from fenced areas, but that's why we have adults out there. Last week there were several schools that chose to have recess indoors. That's one of the things that we'll talk about, frankly, in this debriefing, that the board will see all of this information. How do we want to do that? Is there a standard in these types of situations? Do we close all recess and make sure all the children are inside all day long? What worked, what didn't work?
Right. Now I'm going to turn it over to you to ask, is there any other subject in the 2.5 minutes left that you would like to cover this morning?
Well, I think, like I said, the topic of safety, we really encourage folks to come to that town hall. We've got a career fair coming up next Friday, and in fact, next week, your segment is we're going to have our vice principal from Burley High School that organize that, get on and talk about that on your program. We, as you mentioned, we really, truly, and as a board, I will speak for them, they want to be reflective and have decisions be reflective of what's going on in the community. That doesn't always mean that exactly what someone thinks is how it's going to be, but they have an effort to try to listen and want to hear what people...
Okay, now I've got exactly 30 seconds left, caller. I'm going to let you on the air, but for a short question, that's it. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you, Zeb. I may have missed it, but what I wanted to call in and ask was, how does the school district feel about citizens, parents, and whatnot watching over our students of our counties and our families and our friends as an individual person, getting a hold of them and be there when the school buses leave and they come to school? I'll get off and let you tell us.
Debbie, a short answer to that question, please.
I will be very brief. I actually I had many phone calls last week about this exact item. We know that there were parents and other folks that came into schools to walk in halls and to help monitor. This is part of this debriefing that I've referred to, that our board will be presented with all of this information so that we can have a clear understanding of what works and what doesn't work and how we utilize our community.
Debbie, I thank you. You know you are so much appreciated on this program. Cassia County Schools Communications Officer, Debbie Critchfield, God bless you and thank you so much.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. And, of course, Cassia County School Days brought to you by two great sponsors, A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley and the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley. Number to call, 677-8888. Right now, let me take a look and see if I've got anything outstanding that I did not do. I believe we're going to jump over the river and through the woods, and we're going to have Nick from Let's Ride, and we've got a dial tone first. Nick's going to be on from Let's Ride at 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, where the fun is sold. Nick, are you there?
I'm trying to get him on, sir.
Okay, thank you. There's a kind of a pregnant pause there for a moment, and no, but they're working on getting him. And we'll have him up in just a moment. Coming up at 10:32 this morning, we're going to talk to Kip Colson, and he's going to be talking about, he's a financial expert, and he's going to be talking about what kind of effect the gas tax, the proposed 25 cent a gallon gas tax, would have on the citizens here in this United States. How we doing, Wheels?
They're still trying to get him on. Just give me like 1 minute.
Okay, thank you. Oh, I love live radio. Anyway, coming up next Monday, of course, which will already be the 5th of March. You don't want to miss. We've got Megan Barth coming on the program. We've got Dr. Paul Nathanson coming on the program talking about why our society is denigrating boys with trying to bring them up to be men. And then we're going to have immigration expert Maria Espinoza on the program. So we've got a full plate coming up for this next Monday. Wheels, how we doing?
We got him on the phone.
All right, thank you. Here's the man that initially caused a little strife between my wife and myself when I bought four-wheelers, and now we think he is up on Mount Rushmore. My wife loves him for selling us those four-wheelers. Nick at Let's Ride, good morning.
How you doing, Zeb?
If I was any better, the wrong fat man be wearing my clothes.
That's good.
Hey, man, I got to tell you, and for those in the audience, this man and his staff over at Let's Ride, they really know all about four-wheelers and everything else over there that you can have fun here in southern Idaho. Nick, kind of give us a thumbnail sketch of what you have there on the showroom floor.
Well, if you've never been in the store before, you'd be amazed. I get people coming through Portland, Denver or whatever, and they stop in our little store here, and we have more selection than they have in the big cities. We got, Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, Suzuki, Can-Am, Gas. I mean, we got tons of stuff on the floor. We could probably have about 150 units right on the floor alone, and if whatever you want, we got road, dirt, water, snow.
Absolutely. Wheels over at the station, turn Nick up a little bit. Nick, one thing I'm impressed about is the staff. You've got a great bunch of people over there, not only on the front showroom floor, but in the accessory department. And a lot of people need to know this time of the year is the time to get those four-wheelers serviced and ready to go when the weather gets better. You've got a phenomenal service department.
Oh, my guy's in the back, and there's one guy that's been here longer than me, and so we've been in business 18 years, and he's been here longer than I have because I was doing my other business first. But I got the best mechanics in the valley, or in the Northwest, I would think, and they are, just good. Everybody knows their stuff, and we've been trying to get in and out pretty quick. They're great guys, and they've been in the business a long time and know their stuff.
Nick, are there any innovative changes or alterations or anything in the four-wheeler industry? Do they change that much from year to year?
Yeah, they change constantly. The last few years it's been steady. I actually am going down to see a new unit here at the end of March that one of the manufacturers, top secret thing, but they invite me to go down and check it out. But they keep changing stuff, making it better, bringing out new stuff. If they didn't bring out new stuff, people would not buy. The old stuff's good enough. But they keep making new stuff, and it's really grown over the years, especially in the side-by-side market.
Absolutely. What about the accessory department? Give us a little example. When you say accessories, what are you talking about?
Oh, you can do anything. Plows, winches, windshields, cabs. It attracts. It's sky's the limit. And tons of accessories. Mitch and Dennis and Jason and Rusty over there are top notch. They've been in the industry a long time. Dennis has probably been doing the motorsports things about 30 8 years.
Wow.
So he's really knowledgeable on stuff, and Jason, he's probably got about 25 years of experience, so yeah.
One of the best things, and I'm going to hit a little personal note here, one of the best things I ever bought, and I kind of chided myself at first because I thought, what did I spend the money for? Wow, I couldn't have hit it any better. I bought a snow plow for my four-wheeler last year, and I got to tell you, Nick, it saved my bacon. I appreciate it.
Oh, last year we were selling snow plows galore. This year, not so much. We're finally getting winter, but those little four-wheelers, you put plows on them, it's amazing how much snow they can push.
You know, what about financing, Nick? I mean, as far as people come in, they don't know about four-wheelers, they've never had one before or whatever, and they're worried about how they can finance it. Do you help with that?
Oh, yeah, we got several avenues for financing through the manufacturers, you know, and through the credit unions, and, yeah, we go through every which way to try to get them financed, and our financing rates right now, there's actually some really good stuff, 0% for 60 months on up, you know, so it's pretty good.
Okay, now, a lot of people probably want to know your hours. What are your winter hours that you're on right now?
We are always open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday and 9 to 4 on Saturday. And so those are hours set in gold. We stay to it. We don't go, you know, less in the wintertime or not. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, I really credit this man with my wife and I enjoying a lot more of the great Idaho outdoors on our four-wheelers. Let's ride 270 Highway 24 with my dear friend Nick over in Rupert area. And this is, of course, where the fun is sold. Nick, thank you so much for being on the program this morning.
It's always a joy talking to you, Zeb, and keep up the good work.
I will, my friend. Thank you very much. I really enjoy those folks over there at Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Thank you, Nick. Right now, we're going to clear the slate for a few minutes and send it back over to our main studios, and we'll be back with Kip Colson coming up in just a few minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb.
Oh, thank you. On a Thursday, and right now we're going to learn more about a book that's called You Can Have It All, Wealth, Wisdom, and Purpose. I'm game to learn more, and we're going to hear from the President and CEO of Family Wealth Leadership, and here is now Mr. Kip Colson. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. How are you?
Well, not too bad. Kip, where do you live? Where am I talking to you at right now?
Yeah, I'm in Orange County, California, Southern California, bright and sunny.
Oh, my goodness. Don't you dare rub it in. It's starting to snow up here.
A little cold today, though. I mean, we're down into the 60s.
Oh, my heart bleeds for you, Colson.
I'm sure.
Hey, tell us a little bit about your book. You Can Have It All, Wealth, Wisdom, and Purpose.
Yeah, well, the whole concept, what we do here at Family Wealth Leadership is we work with families to try to coach them and mentor them through the process of transferring their wealth or transitioning their wealth to the next generations in ways that hopefully doesn't mess up the family and screw up the kids.
Let me ask you this, Kip, and I'm an old man, and I made a lot of mistakes financially in my life, but what would you tell people that maybe are getting a little gray on top and a little long in the tooth? Is there still some hope that they can save some money for the future?
Yeah, I think there is. Obviously, planning is, we like to start it early. Because that way we can anticipate a lot of the problems that will come up during life and hopefully either eliminate or at least mitigate some of those problems. But it's never too late. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to be able to create, when we only got 2 or 3 years, that's a lot different than when you got 20 years. But, for sure, planning is never something that goes out of style, and it's really important to do it. I would tell you, unfortunately, more people spend time planning their weekends and their vacations than they do their life. So we try to hopefully get them or convince them that they need to spend that time and energy in making their life worthwhile.
Let me ask you this question, and I know I'm guilty of it, but do you think in general that people in America today are less saving-oriented than they were 20, 30 years ago?
I didn't quite hear the last part of that, but I think the question was if they're not saving what they need. I mean, we've all heard it, and especially when we go through the periods of time like we did in 2000 and 2008 when their retirement plans, their 401ks, their IRAs are getting basically hit about 50%. We happen to come from a different position where, for example, in 2008, the clients that we invest money for only experienced about a 10% hit compared to 40 or 50%. So the point of that is if the planning is done correctly and the right strategies are implemented, then a lot of this devastation that's happening in today's world where people are going into retirement with not enough money and having to work longer, hopefully that can be, again, either eliminated or mitigated.
Okay, now, when I ask you this question, I want to make sure you can hear me all right. We've had a little trouble, I guess, because of the weather this morning, but this question...
better right now.
Okay, thank you. This question is such that how can we as consumers and people that are trying to pay the bills and raise the family, how in the world can we plan for savings when we hear things like the government might be trying to head us off at the pass with a great big, huge gasoline tax over and above what we're paying now? What about that?
Yeah, and I actually went back and listened to your show when you talked about that here a few days ago. First of all, I probably would add to that it was the Federal Chamber of Commerce that was making that proposal.
Right.
And they're basically left-wing anyhow, so I'm not so sure that is ever going to happen. I'd like to think that Trump, based on his tax cuts and his conservatism and his commitment to those, that's not going to go very far. I'd hate for it to be a situation like we had with Bush 1, where it was the famous read my lips, no new taxes, and then he turned around on that, and it was with the elections coming up here midterm, I think that would be devastating. So I think it's probably unlikely to happen, but that said, that's the whole purpose for planning. I mean, taxes are changing constantly. I mean, we've had, if you go back a lot of years, we've had the top tax rates up in the 70, 80, 90% range, and somehow we all got through that. So the whole point of what we're talking about here is identifying ways to minimize taxes, maybe even eliminate them, especially when it comes to the transfer of wealth to the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some, for the last tax plan, we got some really big breaks, and now that a family can basically transfer as much as, call it $22 million without paying any gift or estate taxes. But this all requires planning, and if we do this ahead of time and we have enough, then potentially we can avoid that devastation. But taxes are a way of life. You know, and I always everybody wants to save money on taxes, but there's also the concept of you're not paying dollar for dollar. So if you're paying taxes, it's because hopefully you're making some pretty good income.
The thing
it's a matter of how do you use that income and how do you invest it and how do you cut your expenses so that you're not living beyond your means.
Right. The thing that really bothers me, and I want to get your response to this, I live, and proudly, in a very rural area. I live where there are big farms. I live where there are big ranches. I live where there is great distance between the different areas and communities. And it always seems like when these yahoos, whether back in Washington, D.C. or anywhere else, want to impose a higher gasoline tax or higher gasoline prices, it's affecting the breadbasket of America and affecting rural people, and it's absolutely putting people out possibly to pasture that are feeding America.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And again, I know when I listened to your show the other day, there was, I think, a truck driver that called in, and he was discussing how those kind of taxes would impact him. And that's absolutely right. I live in California. I mean, everybody here, they can't possibly divest themselves from their automobiles. So, and in California, just I think it was last year, we added another 12.5-cent gas tax. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. And again, unfortunately, the politicians they don't know what you go through. They don't know what the people in those rural areas and the farmers and the people who are trying to make a living hard enough dealing, especially in your kind of area where you're dealing with all of the weather and all of the environmental issues, then to throw something like this. But that's the challenge, and the challenge is we conservatives really need to get some other conservatives in office.
You know, I would say this, and I've mentioned this on previous programs, that if there was a surety to me and the rest of the taxpaying public that if we were to pay a higher gasoline tax that was going to go to help supplement and refurbish the infrastructure in America, the bridges, the roads, everything else, and nobody from any other department could get their greedy hands on that money except infrastructure, I'd be in favor of it. But you know as well as I do, the way the politics and the government is run, they'll dissipate that fund and send it over to Saudi Arabia or someplace.
Yeah, you really just hit one of my own hot buttons, because again, here in California, you're absolutely right. What happens is the money goes into the general fund, and here in California, then we turn around and we put it out to social programs. We're not sending it necessarily offshore, but the money that's supposed to go in and fix the potholes and the bridges and all that stuff somehow magically disappears. And of course, if you go back to the Obama years when he raised all that money for infrastructure, and how much of that actually got into infrastructure is pretty small, if any. And the fact that Trump is now talking the same thing, you're absolutely right. It's nice to raise the money, but at the same time, will it really get spent on the dollars we want? And again, I'd love for us to have somehow a separate account for all of these things. You know, something for the defense, something for, as you say, infrastructure, and the money goes in there and cannot be touched for others. Unfortunately, that doesn't play well with the politicians who, and especially the liberals of our world, who want to spend money on a whole bunch of other programs. And quite honestly, and I talk about this when we talk about estate taxes, 2/3 of the federal budget goes to social programs.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you know, from our standpoint, we'd rather encourage our clients to be involved in philanthropy and giving to causes they care about than getting it taken away from them through property taxes, or I'm sorry, through inheritance taxes, and having it fund causes that we don't support, which is happening every day.
You know, Kip, you live in California, and I have a lot of friends down in California. In my other occupation, I have announced rodeos all over your great state for years and years and years. And my friends, I don't know how you make it. I don't know how you put up with all the taxes and the regulatory means and methods that they're after the citizens of California to do more and not get as much and actually receive a lot less. California is absolutely in turmoil right now. Would you agree?
I would totally agree. In fact, I was just listening on my way into the office this morning on the radio. They were talking about the fact that the out-migration is much greater than the in-migration right now. And, of course, and I guess, and they were talking about a recent ranking, I don't remember, one of them today, America Today or something, where California is like right in the middle of the 50 states as far as quality of life. Well, a large part of that is the fact, as you just described, we've got so much regulation, and it's so hard for businesses to do business here that they're leaving the state, and it's a terrible situation. But there's also the opportunity, and there's a lot of business here and a lot of jobs, and so it's a fine line. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I live in a state, unfortunately, that is so liberal that for us conservatives, it's not very palatable.
In your line of work, you have to maintain a positive attitude that things will get better, kind of a Wizard of Oz attitude, and I respect that, and I absolutely embrace it. But when you're trying to save money, what do you tell people? What are some of the basics that you want to tell them in this book?
Well, Well, the point of the book is really geared around the idea that you can use your wealth to make your life and the world a better place, and especially your family. And again, the whole idea of, and I break down wealth, what we call the 4 T's of true wealth, and you've heard a couple of them, or at least 3 of them. But real wealth is what we call time, talent, training, and treasures. Most people just deal with the 3. We added training because the way we look at it, talent is God-given and you can't create it, but training you can go out and get, and you can pass it on. But the whole purpose is wealth is not to serve yourself. If you want to find true value and true significance in life, you need to use your wealth to serve the rest of the world and to serve other people. And so the joy in life, at least from our perspective, is if you use your wealth to take care of your family, but also to train the next generation, because as you can appreciate, it's probably better in your area than it is here in California, but there is so much affluence in California that we're raising a whole couple of generations of kids that have no clue how to be good stewards. They don't know a mutual fund from a checkbook. They don't know anything about managing money. Everything is given to them. They're spoiled. They're entitled. They think they have a right to everything without working for it. And that's the problem, and that's what I'm trying to solve in the book, is to acquaint families with the idea that, hey, you should be using your wealth to make that next generation better and better and better than trying to just solve all the problems by writing checks.
You know, and I could not agree with you more. I'm just going to go out and get your book just purely because I like your attitude and I like your personality on this. But I'm telling you that what do we do to change it? These kids coming up today, not all of them, I'm not pointing my finger en masse at everybody, but they have no work ethic. They have no self-responsibility attitude, and I lay the blame with the education and the parents. Why in the world are we letting this happen? There are so many opportunities in this world, but yet they're coming up and saying, oh, the sky is falling, Chicken Little, there's no hope. Why in the world can't they see the opportunities that are available to them if they get up off their dead butt and go to work?
Yeah, well, you're demonstrating the rural mentality versus the urban mentality, and I think you're absolutely right again, because in your situation and growing up, I mean, when I grew up, I'm 72 years old. I mean, I grew up and I had to go pay for everything. I had to get a job when I was in high school mowing lawns just so I could take my dates out and put a little bit of gas in the car. Well, in today's world, especially here in California, again, there's so much affluence that the kids don't have to work. But to your other point, I think a large part of it is the educational system. I mean, the educational system and our politicians, I mean, you know, again, from the leftist side, it's all about how do we get more power and how do we get more people to vote for us. Well, if we give them more and more money and we take it away from the, quote, rich and give it to the poor, then somehow, you know, we get more voters. And so there's this downhill slide, and the educational system doesn't help us. And so these kids, if mom and dad aren't taking on the responsibility, and I say responsibility, I'm what I call a family coach. I don't think the family can do this. Mom and dad don't have the time, they don't have the skill set, and they don't have the strategies, and they're not equipped to really deal with the family issues that are destroying their family, and affluence is one of those. And plus, they're just too close to the forest for the trees, and as we all know, the kids don't listen to mom and dad anyhow, because we didn't. And so the point of the book is that if we can get some good principles into people's lives, and I might add, we come from a biblical perspective because we think those are really sound principles for living, both from a financial standpoint but from relational issues, that if we can instill those kind of principles into kids' lives and start to get them the training that they need, then we have an opportunity to potentially get that next generation the experience and the training that they need, instead of just writing and, like I say, giving them a handout and putting a BMW in the parking or on the garage for them when they turn 16.
And real quick, I've only got a couple of minutes left in this segment, Kip, but one of my main arguments is that we have pushed for years, oh, you got to go to college. Oh, you've got to represent the family at this university. And to me, that's nothing more than feedlot material. And I'll tell you why. Because we've taken away the trades, the plumbers, the electricians, etc. And these trades are going down the drain with no people trying to refurbish the industry, and if people want to work, there's a lot of money to be made in the trade schools.
I would absolutely agree with that. And again, we come from the viewpoint of the purpose of family is to help everybody in the family become significant. Significance is defined differently for everybody in the family. Some people should go to college. Some people aren't equipped to go to college, and their significance could be in a mechanic, or as you say, a plumber, or whatever. Too much we try to force these kids into a career or a trade or a lifestyle that they're not really equipped to handle, when in fact we should be using, again, those 4 T's of true wealth to help them become what we believe God made them to be, and what is their best purpose in life, so that they can find joy and peace and just success in whatever that is that they're equipped to do.
I like you. I hope you'll come back in the future. The author of You Can Have It All, Wealth, Wisdom, and Purpose. The president and CEO of Family Wealth Leadership, Mr. Kip Colson. You're welcome back here anytime, sir. Thank you so much.
I would love to do it. Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you. I enjoyed him. I'm going to have him back on my program in the future, and I'm going to try to get that book and read it, too. Oh, my goodness, look at the clock. Yes, look at the clock. You're late again. The weather forecast. I can't wait to hear what's going to go on with our weather. Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657, or you can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. Delicious meats like the smoked hams and the marinated prime ribs and the breakfast sausages and the bacon and the bratwurst. Bratwurst, oh boy, I love bratwurst. And don't forget they're ready to serve you just a little bit north of Jerome. You can call them first, 324-7657. Scarrows Meats. Right now, here's the weather.
Be prepared for some more white stuff in the forecast over the next couple of days. Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are looking at snow likely for this morning, some in the lower elevations, but that's mainly going to be up in the higher elevations. A little bit on the breezy side as well. Total daytime accumulations of less than a half an inch possible, high of 40. Tonight's chance of rain or snow possible, and we are expecting accumulations of about an inch. Low of 32 for tonight. Tomorrow, more snow in the forecast, mostly in the morning. That could continue throughout the afternoon. And winds are going to be picking up for tomorrow as well. Accumulations of 1 to 2 inches possible for tomorrow. Expecting a high of 38 tomorrow night. Pretty much the same. Mostly cloudy skies, low near 20. And then for Saturday, 30% chance of snow showers, mostly cloudy skies, and a high of 35. That's your weather forecast for Zeb.
Oh, there you go. You've got it. There's your weather, brought to you by Scarrows Meats. 331 North Road, Jerome, and the number to call, 324-7657. Don Scarrow and the rest of the crew, and they are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Okay, let's see what else have I got cooking here for today. I've told you all about the public service announcements. I told you who's going to be on the air next week with us. And I also want to tell you real quick about our major sponsor, and that's your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. 7 of them. They are now starting today with a big spring tire sale. They're thinking optimistically that the weather's going to be nice and we're going to start traveling more. I hope they are 100% right. Well, they've got tire buys that you can't afford to pass up, like the Ultra Z900 for your passenger cars. Listen to this. Ultimate in tire technology, a 65 to 80,000 mile warranty. Woo! only at $108.22. You better check it out today. And for your pickups and SUVs, how about the Backcountry All-Terrain tire or the Open Country HT? They got them all. They've got all the tires, all the different tread designs, everything, with a big spring tire sale going on now at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, along with the best in brake service, the best in front-end alignment, shocks and struts and batteries, but also the best in service. Stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, and, of course, the Twist family and Paul, really nice folks, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Enjoyed the week. Wheels, I hope all is well with you and you have a wonderful weekend, and thanks for all you do over at the station.
Well, thank you, sir. That truly means a lot.
All right. Well, you behave yourself this weekend, or I'm gonna make you sit next to your mother at lunch bunch the next time. Okay.
I was going to say, you better do the same or I'll have Deanne give you the eagle eye.
Oh, she does every day. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being a part of our week, and now we start a brand new month. We'll be back here on Monday, as a matter of fact, right here in the saddle at Zeb at the Ranch on KBAR 1230 AM, and then streaming live on the internet, zebbell.com, where we always say, and we mean it, the way things were are the way things ought to be. We'll see you Monday at 8:06.